Hey, welcome back. We are finally in the top cut of this BGC Cup tournament in Shan 5. In the top 4, our opponent is going to be Hugo Rios, which we have already faced in round 4 of the Swiss rounds. That was a 2-0 victory for me, but I felt that both games were pretty close, so let's go into this one. Now, it's not like the Swiss ones where you can afford to lose a match. Now, losing means to be disqualified, and winning makes a spot for us in the finals. So, I'm going to lead with the Alga and Hitmon top, expecting him to go with the 2 restricted lead that he did on our previous match in the Swiss round. So I'm going to go for the fake out into the Kyogre, as the Palkia is going to go a special rent into my Hitmon top. Unfortunately, going to get a critical hit, which means that my Hitmon top will go down, but at least my Dialga will be able to set up a Trick Room and be at full health at the same time. And yeah, Hitmon top going down also means that I can send my Among Us for free. My opponent is going to switch the Dialga, which is the fastest thing on the field, and protect the Kyogre. Now that we are in the Trick Room, sending out the Ferrothorn was a good idea, but I was expecting some move of that kind. That's why I went with the Aura Sphere into that spot with my Dialga. That seems to be a 2-hit KO into Ferrothorn. And now I'm expecting the Ferrothorn to protect. Just in case that he doesn't, I'm going to go with the Spore into that spot, but this time my Dialga will attack into the Kyogre spot with the Aura Sphere. Unfortunately, the Kyogre switched out, so Cresselia, which resists fighting type moves, won't take that much from that. The idea was to chip the Kyogre so the Water Spout don't do that much. So yeah, anyway, now I'm going to retreat the Dialga, send my Kyogre, which is going to dodge the Leech Seed from the Ferrothorn, as my Among Us is going to put that thing to sleep. The Cresselia will go for a Psychic into the Among Us, but Among Us can take that really well despite the super effective damage. So yeah, anyway, now my opponent is going to go for the Helping Hand with the Cresselia into Ferrothorn. I think that was a mistake, because the Ferrothorn still didn't burn any turn of sleep, so it couldn't move on this turn, and on top of that, Helping Hand has increased priority, which means that my Among Us will put that Cresselia to sleep after it attacks, so that Cresselia will need to burn an additional turn of sleep because of that Helping Hand that was pretty useless. But yeah, anyway, that allowed my Kyogre to go for a Water Spout at full health. It's going to do a nice chunk into Cresselia. Ferrothorn takes that really well, but still is doing a lot of damage, and since the Trick Room ended, I'm going to switch my Among Us, which doesn't have much to do against those two opponents. I will get the Regenerator and send my Dialga for free, as Kyogre with another Water Spout will knock out both Cresselia and Ferrothorn, which are actually the most annoying Pokémon to deal with from my opponent's team. I'm more afraid of Ferrothorn and Cresselia than his restricted. So yeah, anyway, now my opponent is going to send both the restricteds. He's going to double target the Dialga with the special rend, and well, the Water Spout hits both of my Pokémons, but Dialga is going to be hit as well. But Dialga is pretty bulky, will be able to survive that, and that means that I will be able to set up the Trick Room again in this game. But yeah, before that, my Kyogre is going to go into a Thunder into the opposing Kyogre. Kyogre will be able to leave that, but now I will have the speed priority with this Trick Room that Dialga set. So now I'm going to go with the Draco Meteor into the opposing Palkia. It has the Havanberry, which will allow it to survive, but yeah, my Kyogre will also attack with a Water Spout, which is going to take down the opposing Kyogre. Palkia will take that because it's resisted 4 times, and it was not on, my Kyogre was not on full health, and that will allow his Palkia to finally take down my Dialga with the special Rend. But I still have, I think that 3 turns of Trick Room left, or at least 2, and I still have my Among Us in the back, so I'm going to send it and with the Grass Knot take down the Palkia, and we are getting game 1, so we are only 1 game away from getting into the final. Alright, so let's go with match number 2. By the way, if you are joining on this video and you don't know what I'm talking about with this tournament, I made a playlist with all the matches from this tournament. On the first video there is an explanation of the tournament, of my team, and then I have all the matches that I have been uploaded. So yeah, anyway, for the second game, I'm going to use the same 4 Pokémon, but this time I'm going to lead with Among Us instead of Hitmontop, because I didn't like losing Hitmontop right in the beginning of the previous match, because it's my best answer to the Ferrothorn, which is the biggest threat on my opponent's team. So this time I led with Among Us, which is going to leave a special Rend plus a Water Spout, and be able to put the Kyogre to sleep after my Dialga goes for this Aura Sphere into Palkia. I didn't want to go with the Draco Meteor yet, because I learned on the previous match that I had against this opponent that the Palkia has the Havan Berry and the Draco Meteor is not a one-hit KO, so I wanted to chip it first with the Aura Sphere and then go with the Draco Meteor. Unfortunately, he's going to see that coming, switch out on the second turn the Palkia into the Cresselia, which is pretty bulky, and is going to get a critical hit from this Draco Meteor, but even with a crit, Cresselia is too bulky and could take it and recover some health with the Citrus Berry. Now I need to switch this Among Us, which is really low. I didn't get the chance to set up the Trick Room on this game, so I needed to get it in the back to get the Regenerator, send my Kyogre, as the Cresselia is going to go with the Psychic into the spot where the Among Us were, so good thing that I switched it out. And I'm going to go with Draco Meteor into the Kyogre. It's -2 attack, so it's not going to do that much, but it's still important to weaken the power of Water Spout. Also, from all the games that I had against this opponent, I could see that Water Spout is the only water move that this Kyogre has, because it also has the Thunder, Ice Beam and Protect, so weakening it's pretty crucial for me. So yeah, anyway, now my Kyogre is going to get a double critical hit with the Water Spout. Really unfortunate for my opponent. I think that at the range that they were, it only mattered against the Kyogre. I think that the Cresselia would have gone down without the crit anyway. And the Kyogre was asleep, so yeah, it's unfortunate, but it wasn't that huge. So yeah, anyway, now the last 2 from my opponent are the Palkia and the Ferrothorn. I'm going to go with the Rage Powder with my Among Us to redirect the attacks. Unfortunately, the Among Us will go down to 1 special Rend, so now this Ferrothorn will be able to target my Kyogre, which is going to go for the Water Spout again. Both of the opponent's Pokémons resisted, so they are going to take that pretty well, but still is doing a nice chip. But yeah, unfortunately the Ferrothorn with Among Us down could go for the Leech Seed into my Kyogre and recover a lot of its health back between that and the leftovers. But yeah, anyway, now I'm going to send the Hitmontop, get the useful Intimidate into the Ferrothorn, and take the opportunity here to switch out into Dialga, expecting some protects from his side due to my Fake Out. My Fake Out is going to go into the Palkia, but the Ferrothorn will not protect, go for another Leech Seed, this time into the Hitmontop. Not a huge deal, because Hitmontop with the Shen boosted low kick can one-hit KO Ferrothorn. It's not guaranteed, but it has the option to do that. But yeah, unfortunately, as you're going to see here, another Spatial Rend from this Palkia is going to get a critical hit in Hitmontop. So yeah, my Hitmontop will go down again to special rent in this game. Not that I can complain with all the crits that I'm getting in this game, but here I'm going to do a huge mistake going for the Draco Meteor into the Palkia. That was an overkill. At the range it was at, an Aura Sphere would have been able to take it down, and yeah, that's going to cost me a lot, because now the only Pokemon left from my opponent is the Ferrothorn, which is at full health, and I have both my restricted. But yeah, the main source of damage that I have against him is the Dialga, because Ferrothorn resisted the water moves from Kyogre, and being at -2, Ferrothorn will be able to take the hits from Dialga, and on top of that it's going to offer the Leech Seed. The Dialga was already seeded, and now he's also going to get that onto my Kyogre. So as you're seeing here, he's getting a lot of recovery. On top of that, he also has the leftovers. He can go for Protect to keep stalling. And yeah, here is going to be clear that going for that Draco Meteor was a huge mistake. If my Dialga wasn't at -2, my Flamethrower in the rain or even the Aura Sphere would be doing about 50%, and with additional damage from Kyogre, that would have been enough to take down this Ferrothorn in some turns. But yeah, unfortunately, with a -2, my damage is very reduced, and the Ferrothorn will be able to stall me. There the Kyogre went down, and now my Dialga is very low. It would have only taken one more lead seed, so I decided to run on this one and take it to game 3. So let's go with game 3. This is the first match in all the tournament that I'm going to a game 3, so I was pretty nervous here. This is a decider if we get into the final or not. So this time I went back to the original lead of Hitmontop Dialga, but my opponent also switched the leads. This time, instead of going for the Palkia, he went into the Cresselia and the Kyogre. The Kyogre is going to protect on the first turn, great for my opponent because I double target that with a Fake Out on the Aura Sphere. That will allow him to set up the Trick Room for free with the Cresselia. Not a huge deal for me, my team is ready for the Trick Room. So now I'm going to switch the Hitmontop, send Among Us, which is my fastest thing on the Trick Room, as my opponent is also going to retreat the Kyogre into the Ferrothorn, which is going to take this Draco Meteor pretty well. My Dialga is getting a -2 from here, and the Cresselia is going to target the Psychic into the Hitmontop spot and get the super effective hit on my Among Us, which went there. But now I can go for an Spore in whatever I want. I'm going to switch out the Dialga. We set that -2, get Intimidate on the Ferrothorn and threaten it with the Fighting Low Kick, as it's going to go for the Leech Seed onto that spot, and my Among Us will be able to Spore that Cresselia, which I thought was the biggest threat to my team at this point, in this point of time, because both of the Pokémon that I had sent out were weak to Psychic, so I decided to put the Cresselia to sleep instead of the Ferrothorn. I know that I can deal with the Ferrothorn with a Low Kick, which is what I'm going to go for now, as I switch first the Among Us into the Dialga. Ferrothorn is going to go for another Leech Seed, miss it, and here comes the Fighting Gem boosted Low Kick into the Ferrothorn. It's going to do a lot of damage, but unfortunately I'm going to get a low roll from that, and the Ferrothorn will be able to survive with a little HP, as the Cresselia wake up, went for the Psychic there. Dialga takes it like nothing, but yeah, the most important thing of this turn is that Ferrothorn could survive the Low Kick, which is pretty bad for me. I'm going to switch out the Ferrothorn, which is leech-seeded, expecting him to protect. Just in case that he doesn't protect, I'm going to target that spot with the Dialga, with the Aerosphere, but he did protect. Then the Cresselia will get another Psychic, this time into the incoming Kyogre. Kyogre can take that really well, and here it's the Trick Room from my opponent is going to end, which means that now my Kyogre is the fastest thing on the field, can go for a Water Spout, which at that range is going to take down the opposing Ferrothorn finally. But yeah, Cresselia is still taking that hit pretty well. Well, even that Aerosphere is doing very little to that, and on top of that, the Cresselia will get the Citrus recovery there. And now my opponent is going to send the Kyogre, which is faster than mine, so he will be able to go for a Water Shem boosted Water Spout, also boosted by the Helping Hand, which is going to take down my Kyogre. Dialga will barely survive, and it was a critical hit on Kyogre. I think it probably mattered, because if Dialga took that, I think that Kyogre would have taken, because it has better special defense. But yeah, anyway, the Trick Room will be set. I'm going to send my Among Us now as Spore the Cresselia, which is the one threatening the Among Us, as the opposing Kyogre protected. And now, with a Draco Meteor from my Dialga, Cresselia is going to get pretty low. Now that Ferrothorn went down, the biggest threat to my team it is Cresselia, because of it's very difficult to take it down. Kyogre and Palkia are huge offensive threats, but this Cresselia also is a big defensive threat. But yeah, anyway, my opponent is going to retreat the Kyogre as I went with the Grass Knot into that spot. Palkia takes that pretty well, better than Kyogre would have taken it. And now I'm going to switch, send my Dialga, try to put the Palkia to sleep, but it's going to protect. And now the opposing Cresselia is going to reset the Trick Room, set back to normal conditions, so that will make me switch my Dialga, because it can go down to a single hit from the Palkia at the range it was at. Probably it should have stayed and go for a Rage Powder instead of doing that, because he's going to double target the Among Us slot, which will be able to put the Palkia to sleep, but it's going to take a lot of damage from those hits, and I'm not going to make any progress on that turn because of the switch out of the Dialga. So yeah, looking back, I should have gone for the Rage Powder there. So yeah, anyway, now that his Palkia is asleep, and I have a Fake Out on the Cresselia, I'm going to set the Dialga. Then, with a Sucker Punch, I will finally deal with that Cresselia. It will go down, but unfortunately, the Palkia will wake up on this turn, hit my Dialga, and take it down before I can go for the Draco Meteor. So, really bad turn there because of that wake up. Now my opponent has the two Restricted, and the two that I have left are the Hitmontop and the Among Us. He will protect with both, scouting for what I'm doing on these turns. I'm going to reveal the Wild Guard, which is doing nothing, of course, due to the protect. And now, on the following turn, he will double target my Among Us with a Special Rend and Ice Beam, so my Among Us will go down. I was very close on this turn to move with a protect with my Among Us. That would have been great, but yeah, unfortunately my Among Us went down. The opposing Kyogre will also go down to a critical hit low kick, but at this point his Kyogre is on full health, so with a Water Spout at full health, it will be able to take down my Hitmontop and win the game for my opponent. So yeah, this means that we were defeated 2-1. We are disqualified. We didn't reach the final. But yeah, it was a good run anyway. There was also a battle for the third place, since I lost in the top 4. Unfortunately, due to time constraints of my opponent, we played that on Pokemon Showdown, so I won't be uploading that. But in case you want to see it, I will leave the replays in the description. Spoiler alert, I won, so I finished third out of 12 players. Overall, it was a good tournament run with that positioning and winning 5 out of 7 matches that I played. But yeah, at the same time, I was a little disappointed not reaching the final, especially after winning game 1 in the top 4 and being so close to winning game 2 if it wasn't for that mistake of the Draco Meteor into the Palkia. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for this Shen 5 week. Thank you very much for those who watched all the matches, and also to those that watched some. Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed, and we are seeing next time with other generations. See ya.